Hello everybody and welcome back to another episode. We're going to be doing something very different in this one. Before we get started though, I do want to mention, apologize in advance for the background noise I'm sure you're hearing right now. My daughter is in the background watching television and my dogs have been in and out of this room the whole time I've been trying to film this. So there's going to be background noise and I apologize for that in advance. So in this episode, we're going to be making our own laundry detergent. So in this household, we like to do everything ourselves. We like to make everything ourselves for the most part. We like to hunt for our meat. We like to fish for our fish, stuff like that. And we like to make things, laundry detergent, dishwashing detergent, stuff like that. So in this episode, I'm gonna walk through my wife's recipe for her laundry detergent. I'm not 100% sure where she found this online, but we're going to be mixing this together. So in order to make this, you're going to need just a few ingredients. You're going to need some regular washing soda, some Fells naphtha bar soap. Now this is what we use. That being said, you can use pretty much any bar soap, but we found that this seems to clean the best. You're also going to need some regular borax, some OxyClean, and baking soda. So other than your ingredients, you're also going to need some sort of a jar to mix it in. We got this awesome ball mason jar, and it works perfectly for the sizes and the measurements that we're going to be making. And we also have a measuring cup. So one of the first things you need to do is you need to grate this bar of soap down to size. Essentially, you need to make it into a powder. Now, to do that, there are multiple different ways to do it. We have found that our food processor seems to do the best. You can either grate it first and then run it through the food processor, or if your food processor is like ours and has the ability to grate and process at the same time, that seems to work out even better. So we're gonna go ahead and cut this down to size, and we'll see you back here in a minute. All right, so if you look here at my food processor, what I was talking about is we have this little attachment that goes on top. And as you can see here, it's got these options for grating. Now, obviously this is made to be used with something like cheese. However, it makes very quick work of this bar of soap. Let's put that back on there. Close the lid. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and open up our soap. And we're gonna send it through the food processor, and you're going to see how quickly this just cuts right through it. So we're gonna load it in the top. Here's our little thing here, and watch this. I'm gonna do it on low to start off with, and you'll see how quickly this goes. As you can see, we're left with this little piece right here. So what I always do, done with that plate, I just break it up into little pieces. Once it gets this small, it's pretty much good. You can just break it up into little pieces and then it'll grind up well the rest of the way. All right, from here you just need to put the lid back on. Knock this little piece off right there. And from here I'm gonna actually switch it over to high, and we will pulverize this into a much finer powder. Check on it. Needs to be a little bit smaller. Try this one on low. Looking here, and you can see it's in a not quite powder, but it's granular. So that's going to be enough for one mixture of our laundry detergent. If you want to double this recipe, obviously you would use 2 bars of soap, triple it, 3 bars of soap, and so on. All right, so that's how this is going to work. Let's go back over to the table and start mixing this stuff up. All right, everybody, so we have ground up our Fells Naphtha soap, and now it's time to mix the ingredients together. So again, we're going to take our jar, and essentially the recipe is very, very simple. It's 1 entire bar of Fells Naphtha ground up into a granular powder, and then 1 cup of every other ingredient that I mentioned. So we're gonna go ahead and start with first the OxiClean. Getting a little low here. All right, and then we're gonna dump it into our jar. Now we're gonna be mixing this together later, so there we go. All right, so we've got our OxiClean in there. That's gonna be about the last batch we make out of that jug, or that tub. Next is gonna be our Borax. Now Borax is really well known for getting clumpy, so you'll have to kind of be careful when you're pouring this. And then after you pour it in there, I always like to reach in and try to break up a lot of the bigger clumps. Same with the baking soda, it tends to do the same. As always, you want to be careful dumping it in. Try to eliminate as much spilling as possible. Reach in there, just want to grab and just break up some of the clumps that I can find. Now when we're mixing this together here in a little bit, that'll pretty much mix up, or that'll pretty much break up on its own, but it's still better to do it now. Now what I like to do is I like to mix in about half of this bar of soap now. It just helps it mix in a little bit better. So add roughly half of it. Into here now. I might have gone a little bit more than half, but that's okay. All right, from here we're gonna go ahead and add our washing soda. All right, that's about a cup. That's about right. All right, we're just gonna pour it right there on top of the soap. And lastly, we're gonna do our baking soda. Now I just bought this, so I gotta open it here. Don't make it easy to open, do they? Give me a second. This is 13 pounds, or 13.5 pounds of baking soda. You'd be amazed at how fast my family goes through this. Again, just like the Borax, this does tend to get a little bit clumpy. So we're gonna go ahead and dump this in, and then just like the Borax, we'll reach in and break up any big clumps. All right, there are a lot of clumps in that, so I'm just gonna add a little bit of a smidgen more baking soda. And just a little bit more. All right, and then obviously we'll add in the rest of our soap. Try to get as much of that out as I can. And from here, it's very simple. All we have to do now is just put the lid on this. This is why it's really important that your jar is sealable. And we're just gonna shake it to mix it all up. Wanna make sure we have a good powder consistency. So I'm gonna keep shaking this, and I'm gonna check back in with you here shortly. All right, everybody, so as you can see here, we have a nice combined mixture of all of our ingredients. So we take just a regular scoop, actually the one that comes with the OxiClean, and that's what we use to distribute this. One scoop of this for a relatively large, we have a nice high capacity front load washer, so we're able to put quite a lot of clothes, so one scoop of this. However, if you do smaller loads of laundry, even a smaller scoop would probably do just fine for you. So there you have it, guys. This is the homemade laundry detergent that we make and that we use to clean our clothes. One thing I have found with using this, we've been using this for about a year now, and that it does not seem to fade my camouflage at all, which is just absolutely amazing. Most normal laundry detergents are very notorious for fading colors and stuff like that, and I have not had any issues from this with my camouflage. That being said, it does have a scent to it, so I usually will wash my camouflage right before the season, spray it down good with some of the scent away products that they have out there, and be very mindful of my scent moving forward. So thank you again for watching. Please like this video if you want to see more like it, and please feel free to subscribe to the channel. Thank you again for watching. You have an absolutely wonderful rest of your day.